everyone. Welcome back to another episode, Walk the Talk style, where I'm joined today by some very special guests, an absolute powerhouse, dynamite husband and wife duo that I'm incredibly privileged that they've taken the time out of their busy schedule to sit down with us today and just share a little bit about their success stories. They've had an incredible wealth of success in a very quick succession. First female icon agent, double icon agent, building their own brand business, doing business their way, living a lifestyle of freedom, flexibility, and choice. Alex and Felicity Harden, thanks for joining us today, guys.
Thanks, Chris.
Hey, guys.
So I know a little bit about your story, and we're just chatting before. There's always more to your story, but give us a little bit of a background of your area, where you've come from, where you're at now in your life and your business.
Okay. So basically, Alex and I, geez, how far back in the story? Basically, how we got into real estate. We were flipping properties. We were doing that for about 10 years. Cool. And we had some really great successes and made lots and lots of money. And then we had some really big bloopers where it's not that we lost money, but real estate agents cost us big chunks of money, like our entire profit margin. So we learned really quickly that if you had a good agent, you could make a big difference in your income. And if you had a bad agent, it could make a really big difference in the wrong way. So after a really bad experience, we both have sales backgrounds. We're both high in jewelry, and Alex used to be an accountant as well. And he's had some really high-end corporate jobs. But we just went, you know what, I could do this better, really. So I went and started learning how to be a real estate agent, and pretty quickly worked my way up to being top agent in the office, so top salesperson in the office. And didn't really earn very much. And
well, you did, but the office
I didn't get paid
to take it back.
That's
So
on the annualized group certificate, it looked good.
Oh, not even. I ended up getting ripped off. My boss owes me my old boss owes me 6 figures in commissions.
Right. Okay.
But best thing he ever did for us because it meant that I was never going to go back and work for somebody else, and we started looking for other solutions. Yeah,
cool.
So absolutely loved real estate. In between that, we actually moved interstate. We moved to Queensland from New South Wales. And then I left the industry for just over 18 months, almost 2 years, because I was a little bit upset with how I'd been treated. It was a very chauvinistic office. It was
burnt out, mate. Burnt out by the sounds of it. Been there too. It's sad reality. It happens too often in our industry. So just rewinding. So you started your career in New South Wales. So you're flipping houses there. What year was that approximately? Like 2010 to 15 or?
Oh my goodness. That would have had to have been, I think we started 2011.
Okay.
Flipping. We started flipping. Actually, a really funny story. Alex and I bought a house together for the first time after we'd only met once, and we bought a house that
That's commitment. That's commitment. So met once and bought a property together.
I'd never seen.
She never seen it sight unseen. I'm like, we'll get this one.
Cool.
I've done the figures. It works. Let's get it.
No probs. Done.
And then the second house we bought, you bought that without me seeing it too.
I do that.
He's allowed to. We made good money off it.
Yeah, mate. If the numbers stack up, and you're the analytical guy who knows the numbers probably better than anyone. I'm not good at numbers, mate. But if you came to me with some numbers and the science behind the maths works with the property, like I would invest absolutely. So you came off the tail end of the GFC market. So you would have seen all the triumphs and tribulations pre-GFC through GFC. So coming at the tail end, 2011 would have been tail end of the GFC market. So you would have been, I guess, a little bit nervous, I'm sure, and there's some scarcity about the economy and what's happening around the global economic crisis as such, but you still backed yourself and jumped into property. Then you got into real estate and you almost got burnt out. So within 2 years, you'd say you'd had enough of the industry. We're out.
Completely. I remember, and I tell this story a lot, but one day I'd been out and I hadn't set foot in the office, but I got 2 listings and a sale, and I got 5 new leads. And I walked into the office the next day and I was like, I'm like,
ring the bell, bing,
Yeah,
bing,
you
bing,
know.
bing.
and I sent the emails. Everyone knew what had happened the day before. My boss, he looks at me and he goes,
Oh, the munch.
and he, what? I did not even see that. Normally I'm pretty good at reading situations, but I was just so like, oh my God, I am like,
Imagine her, she's always smiling.
Yeah,
And
I
this
know.
smile was like huge.
Yeah,
I was
right.
like, yeah. Anyway, he's like, sit down. Where were you yesterday? I'm like, didn't you see the emails and the texts come through? I got 2 listings, and I got a sale, and I got all these leads, and booked in some more appointments and appraisals. And he's like, yeah, but where were you?
Yeah, right.
That's the sort of, anyway.
You
I got
didn't
in really
clock
big
on.
trouble.
You didn't clock off.
Like, you can see me. I can be sitting. It's like 16-hour day.
Yeah.
Great results, and I'm getting my ass handed to me because you didn't set eyes on me.
Yeah, right. Right.
That is not the environment that I want to be in. And look, there was a lot of things that happened in that office. Some really good things. I also learned a lot of things that are not great.
Yeah.
So yeah, like there was a lot of things I learned about if a business that wouldn't want to have again ever.
Yeah.
So I left the industry for almost 2 years, and I really missed the property sales. I missed dealing with people the way that I was, and helping my buyers, helping my sellers. So Alex actually convinced me.
Took a lot of convincing because she used to do like 8 hours door knocking, cold calling, had what next day or something. So it was kind of like, well, I don't want to be doing all that. So we had to try and find a way. And I said, well, okay, if I can find a way that you don't have to do that and we can get business, I think we can actually, that's where social media came into it.
Yeah.
And that became my pretty much now is like, that's big part of my job.
The only way that Alex eventually, like you said, I used to spend minimum 8 hours a day door knocking and rest cold calling. I'd be doing 16-hour days, like 6 to 7 days a week. And I worked in an office where I wasn't allowed to have my face on anything, my name on anything. My cards didn't even have my mobile number.
I think it took me 2 weeks to convince her to put her face onto a sign or a card or something. It was nuts. But that it'd been drummed into her head that you can't do that. Like it's not the right thing to do.
Yeah, that's out of school. That's not the norm. You got to conform here. You got to follow suit.
Yeah,
absolutely. So you left the industry and then got back into, what was it, about 2013, 2014-ish?
2019.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
into 20.
We started in real estate 2015.
Yep.
To 2017, and then 2 years in between. Yeah.
Okay.
And then back
so
in
2019, so you came from a traditional sort of mindset, mentality and business, the way that it was run. The office, the establishment. Left it burnt you out, had enough. Hubby then starts to convince you. You still had the love, passion and thrive and burning desire there. So in 2019, you re-engaged with the industry. How did you come into the industry in 2019?
Guns blazing.
Guns blazing. All right. So this story I know pretty much from this point a little bit onwards. So 2019, did you join another business, another model or franchise or office, or did you go out with all that luxe, sexy branding that we're seeing before us?
We went straight into our own business. Pardon property. And basically
as a complete independent.
Yeah. Had no backing, no nothing. So we pretty much, again, as you know, we started from scratch. We had no database, no pipeline. Felicity, because obviously where Felicity was, the name hadn't been out there. So we were still in a similar area. But the problem is that nobody knew who she was. So it's kind of like
I didn't even have any REA history or anything like that because nothing had my name on it. So I literally did not exist in the industry.
Yeah, cool. All right. So 2019, you start your own family business together. So let's maybe differentiate for the viewers that are watching this or the agents watching this that don't know your defined roles. So Alex, your role and department within your family business is?
Social media, marketing, lead generation, all that sort of side of it, promotions.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I do.
which you're an absolute genius at. I have a red hot crack at marketing, and I'd probably do it 60-70% at best. This guy here does sexy, classy, on point, every time flawless marketing. Everything that you touch and that I see visually, you turn to gold, whether it's your YouTube content, whether it's your website, your landing page that I've been stalking a little bit. I do watch you guys a lot.
I've seen that. I can tell.
This Chris guy, stage 5 clinger. Everything you touch, man, turns to gold. And it does. It inspires all of us to sort of lift our game, lift that bar in that space. So you're definitely a master of craft in your field and that department within your business. And Felicity, what's your role within the business?
I'm a listing and selling agent. So I do listing, selling, the admin, the rest of it, basically. Yeah.
Important
and
stuff.
How do you guys find it? Because, like, you know, a lot of husband and wife teams have trialed it and worked together and it's not worked. You know, like I know David Washington and Cassandra Washington, who worked together until David joined us, obviously, but very similar. You always find someone, they specialize in their field of expertise. Like you've got someone who's maybe the front of house, doing the business, doing the listing, bringing the deals together, but then you got the brains trust behind that's keeping the cogs turning over. I think it's really important. But how do you guys find it working as a husband and wife team? You're spending a lot of time together.
The thing is, like, we both understand our roles pretty well. Like, I mean, it's the thing, like, if we had to, I could do Felicity's role and vice versa. Like in that sense, we both have it. Yeah. We have an understanding, like, you know, basically we can do probably up to 80% of each other's jobs, right? Because I come from a sales background. Felicity understands how to do like marketing and promotions. So it's kind of like we have an understanding of what we do, but we also know how to find roles.
And we also know the reasons why each other do things. Correct. Like we're always communicating about it. So there's not a surprise if this is happening. It's, you know, especially if I've got, it's great having Alex, who has an amazing sales background as well, because like he has so much. I think at one stage he had like 350 sales staff, like managers that he used to.
That's a lot of headaches, man.
Yeah,
that's a lot of headaches.
The reason you don't actually want staff, but
exactly.
Yeah.
One of the really big, like really good things is Alex. Now, I'm really good at what I do, but sometimes it's really nice to have somebody to bounce those ideas off.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling a bit stuck, Alex knows, like, he can coach sales, so he knows how to talk me through.
Yeah.
I'll probably normally come to my own conclusions, or Alex will give me some suggestions, but it's just like we have our own defined roles, but we also, when needed, we're there to bounce each other. Like sometimes you come to me with some of your marketing stuff, and you know, we don't step on each other's toes because we know what we're both doing. And
I love it. I love that though, how you can cross-pollinate though. That's really important because, like, heaven forbid, if something does happen to one of you, you know, if you're sick or health or something happens, you can step into that role. Whereas in my business, my wife can't step into my role. She has no idea about what we do on it. I mean, she understands it when we talk about my day, but really the operations behind, you know, what we do. So I think that's a real added advantage to your business and your clients, is that, you know, if you ever struck with something, or if someone caught COVID and the other doesn't, you can cross-pollinate, you know, between fields. And bouncing ideas is so vital. You know, a lot of people work more online than ever before, sometimes in home environments, and just having that second person or voice to lean on for advice or guidance, or to workshop a scenario with, can be the difference of bringing a transaction and a deal together at the end of the day.
Yeah,
it definitely does make it a bit more of a challenge to have a personal life though, because we always end up brainstorming and business planning.
But again, like what it means as well, like, you know, I mean, that's the thing, like Felicity will do opens on the weekend and I'll go to spend time with her, so that I'll actually tag along and just be the second person there. But again, like, it's not really necessary, but the thing is, it means that we get time together and we go to lunch in between, so we still get that kind of flexibility. It's a day out. It's we make a day of it, as opposed to like, oh, I've got opens today or whatever it might be, or got inspections, and it's kind of like we make it based around our life, how we want it. So,
well, your passion's property. I mean, that's where you started all this from, is buying, flipping, selling, renovating property together. So you're just sharing that passion together on a daily basis, and it's your business now, essentially. I think it's great. And I must admit, I can relate. Like, you know, I'm traveling Australia in a caravan at the moment whilst we have this interview, but I miss game day with my troops, like getting out there on a Saturday morning, you know, I used to look forward to going to their opens just as much as my own and my own clients, because it's a fun day and it's a passion that you're all sharing together as a tribe. And we don't really call it a work day. Like I say to the guys, don't be so serious on game day. Like, make it a fun, inviting environment, you know, have a bit of humor. Obviously you're there to get the job done, but, you know, just make people feel comfortable. Don't be so serious. Like it's got to be this facade of this gentleman or lady with a suit and tie at the front of the door, like you're the gatekeeper. Give me your details before you get in. Like, just be warm and inviting. Have fun.
That you say that too, because we get a lot of comments. Like we are in a very competitive area of Brisbane. I think we actually have the highest concentration of real estate agents in our
I remember you saying that,
area. Yeah. And most of them, each to their own, but most of them work in big brand. Like there's a lot of big brands, big franchises competing in the same market. And there's obviously, like, I think there's something between 70 and 80.
It's more than that now.
Actually, that
was when we started. Before COVID started.
I remember you saying that on Icon the other week. I'm like, how many in that area?
Yeah, there was 76 before COVID. And I mean, people are coming out of the woodworks and going, I can make a buck, and realize you can't do that.
Market's booming.
So, you know, it's kind of blown out of proportion now. But
yeah, it is pretty crazy. But the funny thing is, like, everyone has their way that they present themselves. And we often get a lot, like, we're Queensland too. Most of the time, like 9 months of the year, it's pretty stinking hot here. Yeah. And you don't want to be there in a suit and well, I wouldn't be in a suit and tie anyway. But
I'd struggle. Big fella would struggle.
Like as long as you're wearing
I wear a polo, I wear basically like long pants, and I wear like skate shoes.
Yeah.
In the comments, we get people like, oh my God, it's good to see somebody who's not got a
fresh approach. Yeah. Down to earth.
And it also means, because we're more comfortable.
I'm more comfortable.
We're happier, we're chattier, we make people feel more comfortable. Like, it doesn't need to be that formal. But
it doesn't make a difference to how you do your job. That's the thing, right? You're getting the same job, you're actually getting a better job because we're comfortable in what we're doing.
And people feel comfortable chatting with us.
Exactly.
People don't care how you look. Just get me the result and make the experience good. That's all they care about, right? That's what our service is at the end of the day. And I think it's about knowing your market a little bit too, though. But I remember days in our marketplace where there would be agents going, I think I'm going to start donning the tie. And I was like, why? Do you think the tie will win you more business and make people like you more? And, oh, no, but that's just that image, that cliche image. And it's like, yeah, no, man, like, just dump that shit and just be real and be yourself and, you know, tailor it to your marketplace. But I think that's really cool that you've identified that little niche opportunity in your area in comparison to the 760,000 other agencies or agents in that area is super cool. So just getting back to 2019, you've gone out, the Hardens property has launched. What's that first 12 months look like for you?
Insanity.
So we were really going from a standing start, and we didn't really have much money behind us. Like, we pretty much we didn't have none. Yeah. Okay. We had debt.
Yeah. Been there. I can relate.
So, like, literally going into it cold. We had no pipeline. We had no database. We had absolutely nothing. We basically had set ourselves a goal. We thought, okay, you know what, we could just survive if we got 12 listings in the next 12 months.
We actually said, yeah, look, we'll get 10 listings. And then we said, oh, we'll make it 12 because it's one a month. Make it easy. Just one a month. That's all we wanted.
Cool.
And we said, you know, like, we're not going to be going forwards, but we're not going to be going backwards at a great rate. We can just, you know, and this is, look, from a standing start, that's kind of realistic, we thought.
Yep.
Fast forward to the end of January, 12 listings.
Okay. So we did it.
Yeah, but
no. What did the bottom line look like?
We started, I think it was like the 28th of November.
Yeah.
Okay.
So literally 2 months in.
Yep.
We had our full entire 12 months worth.
12 months. Yeah. Yep.
Which came with its own problems.
It's a great, people go, oh, that's a great problem to have. Yes and no, because the thing is you've still got to have expenses that come with that to actually make that happen. And when you don't have the money to do that, it can be a big problem.
And when you don't have any backup and you don't have any systems or processes, like, we didn't have a CRM to start with.
What's the CRM? We didn't know what
we didn't have the time to go and research which one to get or to learn one. So we basically, you know how they talk about a bucket, like a bucket with holes in it?
Holes. Yep. Plug the holes.
A bucket with no bottom.
Yeah, okay. Right.
Everything was going, it was just pouring straight back out.
So I can imagine it right now, having been a business owner myself formerly. You've had this cracking excitement of 12 listings coming in within the first 60 odd days. So you've smashed your annual target out of the ballpark. But then all of a sudden, because I believe in Queensland, vendor paid advertising is more so held by the agent, isn't it? Is that the case? Like you guys carry
the other thing
most
is
of the marketing?
we don't do VPA.
Yeah.
We do VPA.
We do VPA, but we don't generally take it up front. So
yes. And I notice a lot of agents in Queensland I talk to, that's the norm, isn't it? Like that's pretty much the norm in your state. Whereas in SA, it's like 50-50. Like,
look, it's probably
about the same here.
50-50.
Okay.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people who offer no marketing, like no marketing cost. There's quite a few people who offer like marketing paid at the end, and there's a lot of people who do upfront marketing.
Gotcha.
So actually it's probably 30-30-30. Like it's really
pretty even over everything.
Yeah.
So these listings came in, and then all these marketing supplier invoices, I'm sure started filtering in. It's like 14-day term, please pay
we wouldn't
REA.
even like accounts or anything. Like I remember I think we didn't even have like REA forms. We didn't have we haven't had no CRM. We didn't have any tools whatsoever to deal with any of this. So it was
because also of the cost of realestate.com and that you lock in for 12 months. And like, so we didn't have savings, and we just actually signed up to some big coaching. We got some coaches because we were like, we can't fail at this. We've got to make sure we succeed. So we've just taken on another 6 figures in coaching costs. Yeah. Yeah. So we as you do. But we actually left it, I think, to like the day before the properties were supposed to go on the market to activate our REA account.
Yeah, right.
Quick
way to learn in the back
end
of REA.
I remember maxing out our card to actually get DocuSign.
Wow.
Like, we were umming and ahhing about getting DocuSign. Best thing ever anyway, by the way. But at the time, like, again, we know where people come from when you come from nothing, or, it's hard starting out, because the thing is, we were umming and ahhing over $20-30, man. Like, and yet you go, but you got 12 listings coming in, but we haven't sold them yet, and the money's not coming for
and even if we
3 or 4 months,
when we do sell them, it's many months before. So what sort of happened then after that week, we kept going really hard and we kept getting more and more listings. And then that first 9 months, we wrote $750,000 in GCI.
Yeah, I heard a little bit about this story. So that's massive. So we went from, let's just list 12 for the month. We did that within 60 days. And then we've written $750,000 in our first
9 months.
Full 9 months of operation.
We went from going, like, we were like, we sort of experienced everything very quickly. It was like we had our first $100,000 month, and we're like, oh my God, we had our first $100,000 week. Yeah. And then we didn't even realize, but then we had a $100,000 day. Yeah. And we didn't even know about it. We were like a week later, we're like, hold on a second, that was $100,000 a day. Yeah. And it was a week later because we were so busy. We were just like, this is just a whirlwind. Yeah.
And it's a cracking story, because a lot of agents who watch this, the natural aspiration in life is to become a business owner. And I remember the day that I went and signed the check, I guess, for my partake in a partnership in a business as well. And I was like, shit, man, that's like, this is make or break it. Like, this money is leaving my account. Like, there's no coming back from here, Chris. Like, you're in the corner, man. And the only person who's going to back you better than you is your bloody self. So this is really inspiring to hear this, because there's a lot of synergies here that I can absolutely relate to. I was fortunate, though, in that I had a lot of the systems ready and up and running because I bought into a partnership, whereas you started from like ground zero.
Absolute ground zero. And probably the worst part of it was the worst part of it.
the learning part of it.
Just because we didn't have systems. So like we said, our first 9 months, it was actually 760, I think, that we wrote. And then we completely burnt ourselves out.
Yeah, I bet.
So we pretty much took 3 months off.
Yeah.
And the funny thing was, we didn't really start transact. So we heard about, so we started in end of November 2019. We heard about EXP in April 2020. Yep. And we joined up literally within 24 hours of hearing about it, because it just sounded like it had everything that we needed that we lacked to have that support. Yeah. Because what we had was not sustainable.
Yeah.
Our success came from our hard work.
Yep.
And, I think EXP's contributed to that. It's definitely contributed to having making it sustainable long
Yeah,
term.
the processes and the systems are there for us. Like that's pretty much.
But the problem was we were at that point where we came into it, we were actually too busy to take advantage of what we were being offered.
You didn't know. Yeah, you didn't have time. It's like park it, too busy.
That's right.
So at what point, sorry to cut you off, Felicity, I just remembered something, because I remember you telling this story. I heard it somewhere down, I can't remember where. Alex put the whole EXP agreement under the microscope, as analytical Alex does, and he scrutinized everything, I'm sure, from top to bottom, every T, every I, and he couldn't fault it. He dumped it onto you and said, can you fault this? Like, is there anything you can see? At what moment, what was the trigger point, I guess, really, that made you go, let's actually really look at EXP in detail here? Because I find that's the biggest misconception with when I talk to agents about EXP. It's not that they know of the model. It's more so they don't understand the education behind it, the knowledge behind it. And you guys would have been, I'm sure, incredibly busy as well. But what was the trigger point that made you look deeper into it?
So
there's a few.
Yeah.
Because I mean, for starters, right, as Felicity said, we'd already signed up to REA domain, like all.
We had 12-month agreements.
Yeah, 12-month agreements. We still had 9 months of this stuff when we got coming to the EXP. We still had nearly like 9 months to go.
Between 6 and 9 months on different ones. Yeah.
And literally, like, for that, we're paying out about just over 24,000 or whatever a year. So the thing is, for us, like, even if you just take that into account, so when you look at the subscription cost of EXP, it's literally the same. But the thing is, you're actually getting more in the subscription cost from EXP than what you do from everything else. So I mean, for us, it was kind of like, well, why wouldn't we do that?
It was a no-brainer. To use Grant Cardone's words, no-brainer.
Don't want to be cliche, but it is. It's a no-brainer, right? Like, if you just look at it from a cost perspective, from an independent business, it is a no-brainer, because the thing is, it's less and you get more. So
if we heard about EXP when we first started, we would never have gone out. We would have started straight to EXP.
You wouldn't need that 3-month break, I reckon.
No, 9 months. The other thing is, we would have actually probably used a CRM. We got the CRM in the midst of it, and then we found out that EXP had the same CRM anyway. Yeah. But we never even touched ours, because the thing is, we got it too late.
Gotcha.
So we had a pile, like, this big of stuff that we had to put into the CRM, which we only just started getting in the last few months, to be honest.
Yeah, right.
So there was like so many people.
Yeah, okay.
But that's what you said. We had a bucket with the whole bottom taken out. We were just giving away.
One of the big things though that really got us, so like we done one of Glenn Twiddle's courses, and he'd sort of, I think Alex had actually gone on and one of his trainings and was talking to people, and we sort of chatted with Glenn at the end of it and said, one thing that we don't like, we love real estate, we love helping the people. Actually, a lot of agents are really lovely people, but the industry it's so messed up. It is actually designed to make agents fail, and there's no support, there's no collaboration, there's nothing where people, like, the scarcity mentality is so bred into agents. It actually, not only does it hurt them, it hurts their clients, it hurts the industry, and it hurts their future. So we actually said, like we were saying to Glenn, we want to come up with something where it encourages agents to collaborate and work together and really, help one another, rather than being so terrified of the person sitting next to them.
Yeah. And
this was probably about 10:30 at night. And he sent us a message, and he's like, we need to get on a Zoom right now. Yeah. Yeah. He was actually just putting together his information.
He hadn't even got all the information yet.
Weren't even done. And he's like, forgive this, but I need to talk to you guys about this.
Yeah.
So we stayed up the whole night. Because there was only what Glenn told us, that was the only information available in Australia.
Yeah.
I think we were one of the first, if not the first, transacting agents coming in Queensland.
Yeah.
And then we spent all night researching the US information that was available out there. And
when she says all night, there was no sleep. There was literally just watching YouTube videos on, how it worked and what people were doing in it and what they do doing their business.
Yeah.
Because I don't doubt that, because I know you guys, when you're committed to something, it's like, you're bloody all in. Like, you're all in. I totally get it.
So yeah, pretty much by the next day, we'd sign up to get that document.
Yeah.
The disclosure document, essentially. And then I was busy. I was just juggling listings coming in, negotiations, a couple of sales and things like that. And Alex, he spent a couple of hours looking through the document, just going over and over and over it again. And he just got so frustrated by the end of it, because he, like, you used to even do up some of the documents for companies, like you've held high level corporate positions. And he's like, I've never seen a document like this. He got really exasperated, which I'm not joking. I'd finally sat down, because I walk when I'm on the phone with clients. I'm like walking around the house.
Yeah.
And he walked into lounge, sat down, he walked into lounge, and he literally dumped it on my lap. And he's like, you just have to look at it. I can't find anything wrong with it.
Surely there's got to be something wrong in there. There's got to be something
It's kind of like you almost want to find something. And that's the thing. It's kind of like, you know, I just want to find something, because the thing is, it can't be all like this. Yeah. And I guess, and you don't really know really until you've been in it for a while. We've been in it for over 2 years now. And it's kind of like, well, you know, what we thought was correct.
Yeah.
It's actually all in there. And it's actually, we've gotten more since we started than what we ever thought we would.
Yeah.
So because that's the thing, they just keep bringing things to the table.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, here, have this for free in this part of it. Have this. And it's like, geez.
Yeah.
You know, you did, these are all things that weren't in there. And now we've all these other stuff that's helped our business as well. And it's just like, and it can be little things, but it's just like, we don't have the time to research all these different things. EXP goes and does that, and then brings it into the business and goes, here guys, have this, and this is how you use it. It's just,
So the really cool thing is, like, once we actually started employing all the other things that we got into it, because we're like, you know, we work really hard, but we also try and be a little bit smart about how we work. And how we worked at the beginning, we weren't too smart about it. We just had to go, you know, we just had to do it.
Yeah, there's no alternative.
And that's where we burn ourselves out. But when we actually sort of slowed down for a moment and went, let's have a look at this, and we started actually implementing a whole lot of the things, what's happened, like a year on from that, is we're now, I don't know, pretty much writing the same numbers.
Yeah.
You're pretty much part-time.
And pretty much part-time. So we're actually now even creating part of what we wanted to do, which was a training system for people who want to start their own business. Because, you know, we came from literally nothing. So people who are walking away or moving interstate or can't take their database or don't necessarily have a well-known name, whatever their story is, that they actually want to go into a business by themselves, there's nothing out there that helps people start from that scratch to move forward. And we obviously, this is like, we all have an abundance mentality, and it's one of those things where we just want to create a system where people can go step by step, things that we wish people would have told us. Here you go, do this, do that. You know, if you follow this process, and you don't have to, and this is the best thing about it, just like with any sort of training system or anything like that, you don't have to follow it, but if you want to, or even if you use part of it, you can choose your success. And it's about having that training system set up, because you get that when you buy into a franchise. You don't get that when you go into your own business.
That's right. What we'll do for the viewers that are watching this, we'll drop some links down to the Hardens content below, so you can click and just start engaging and connecting with the guys. You'll vouch for it as I do. It's world class. Sorry.
It cut out for a bit there.
Oh, did it? Oh, sorry. I was just saying, for the viewers at home, what we'll do is we'll drop some links down below for your content. So if they want to connect and engage with you guys, which I'm sure they'll vouch, it is world-class stuff. Maybe if you are looking at going out on your own or starting a business, one of the greatest, you know, mentoring lessons you can install in anyone, I think, in life is I try and install into my team is learn from my mistakes. Like, if I can fast track your success from learning from all the pain points and the mistakes that I made, then that, I believe, is a great mentor in life. So we'll drop some information below. Let's talk about that. So 2020, we jump into EXP. We use that as the engine room to power us as the Hardens property. Let's talk about your branding. You do all your own branding?
Yeah, so from day one, we basically done our own branding. Like, I don't know what to say about that, but
so we did our own branding, and then we've also started a second brand. So we have Harden Property, and now we also have Harden Prestige.
Okay, so we're moving into that higher level of the market, that premium luxe properties, which I've seen you tap into that area. You've got Harden's Property, obviously, which is commenced in 2019, 2020, powered by XP. What about property management? Have we started to dive into property management as yet, or?
Yes.
Cool. Of course you would.
Yes, we have. Like that. So we obviously use Live for that. So, which is
sweet.
Fantastic.
Yep.
So that's made it very easy for us to actually start building our own rent roll and start to actually have that asset.
And actually even getting that sales stream off the rent roll, like, you know, funnily enough, obviously the market investors has offloaded, started to realize their profits on their investment property. So we've already sold 25% of the rent roll as we've been getting it, which is insane.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's amazing to be able to grow another asset, but without having the head of looking after the day-to-day running of a rent roll.
Yeah, gotcha. That's cool. So you mentioned earlier at the beginning when you started in business, you didn't want to employ staff. I can relate to this. Let's talk about that versus more so wanting to collaborate and now help other like-minded, I guess, entrepreneurial agents to learn from the mistakes and your journey in business. So why didn't you first want to have staff within your business?
Well, I mean, I come from, as Chris said, I come from managing anywhere up to 350 staff.
Yeah.
And with that comes a hell of a lot of headaches.
You had enough.
You look, obviously, you know, the age-old thing is that you obviously can get things, you know, they say you make more money by getting things done through other people, which you do. However, you also inherit all of their problems.
Yeah.
Right.
So the thing is that, you know, we've always, like, you know, when we started doing real estate, we actually like found in our area, again, like you said, there's a lot of agents that don't get support within the area. And we've been on, you know, a couple of Glenn Twiddle's trainings that basically we got involved in, that, you know, where we were helping other agents to actually, you know, better their business.
So,
and
sorry, just to interrupt there. One of the things that first happened, so we were in the first 6 months of starting our business when the COVID lockdown happened.
Yep.
And as we know,
welcome
like,
to business.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, COVID, oh, you're so lucky you're in real estate now. It's great. But the first probably 3 to 6 months of it was not good. You'll attest to this, because there was so much fear in the market. There was, you know, things weren't moving. Properties were falling over because the banks were pulling loans that they'd already approved. All sorts of things were happening. And, you know, I was lucky enough to manage to hold almost everything together. But as far as a lot of offices didn't have support for their agents, and they didn't talk them through. There was just like, because they're very much in a fear mentality anyway, as something happened in the economy, in the world, that was terrifying for everybody, people just shut down and they didn't do anything. So we didn't have that, I'm going to call it a luxury.
Yep.
We didn't have that luxury. We were 6 months into our business. We were still, you know.
We had a 2-day oh shit moment.
Yeah.
And then we basically pivoted on day 3.
Yeah. Because the bills were still coming in.
Day 1 was basically, day 1 was like, oh crap. Like day 2 was okay. What do we do?
Yep. Reality.
Implement.
Yep. Implement.
Yeah.
And we realized that, you know, if the market was going to tank, our clients needed us to go hard now.
Yep.
More than ever.
Yep.
If the market was going to turn, or what, like, regardless of what the result was, they needed us to stop worrying about ourselves, stop freaking about anything else that we couldn't actually control, and focus on them and provide them with the service that they were employing us to do.
Yeah.
So whilst a lot of other people weren't really doing anything, we doubled down.
Yeah. Straight
away. And because of that, we had new listings coming on, we had signs going on, had sold stickers going up, literally within a week of things coming on the market. And if you actually look in our core area, one of the suburbs in our core area, there was literally 0 transactions for an entire month.
Wow.
It's a slightly different, it's quite a political suburb.
Right.
And things just, they react really strongly to
political influence.
Influences.
Yeah. Government influence. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really, really interesting. Because we still, like I said, we had signs going up, we had sold stickers going up, we were getting really good prices still for our clients. And we had a lot of agents reaching out to us going, what are you doing and how are you doing it? I'm seeing a sign go up and I'm seeing a sold sticker a week later.
Yeah.
What are you doing? I can't get anybody to do anything. And
these are direct competition. Like they're at that point where they were like that desperate that they're like, what's going on? Like, how are you actually doing this within this market?
So we started just helping them, because we're like, well, it's not about them and us.
No,
they've got to serve the clients.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a testament to you guys, for a competing agent in the same area, working the same patch as you guys, to feel that they can actually reach out to you openly, just shows the credit of both of you, I guess, respectfully. Because like you said, there's so many walls and barriers and fences and barbed wire between one agent to the next, whether we're pink, yellow, black, blue. And it's like, just let's break that shit down, right? At the end of the day, we're people, right? And we're just here to help other people that have a need to move in life with respect to property. And you know, I love it how that you've brought this up, because that was one of my pain points when I first started, very similar to yours and Glenn Twiddle. I just had enough. I was like, half the people I want to work with, half the other people are really toxic. They always complain and whinge. You try and make change to suit their needs. Then they don't turn up when you do technological innovation and implementation. The biggest whingers and complainers aren't there. But there's got to be a way we can all just collaborate neutrally, where we're not on someone's payroll and that's the only reason they're rocking up, or they're going to get a slice of the commission check. That's why they're going to be there to help you. There's got to be a way we can equally just reach out to each other and go, like, Hardens, have you had this pain point? Like, I've just started my business. I don't have an REA account. Like, what did you do in that situation? So I think that's a wonderful point, that those agents felt they could actually reach out to you really transparently. So fast forwarding to now, you've built a beautiful, successful business. You've got your property management happening. You're moving into the luxury market. You're absolutely dominating across the board from everything that I've seen. If you haven't, guys, and you're maybe an agent who wants to brand it your way, I share a lot of these guys' marketing to agents I'm talking to that want to be their own PTY Ltd company. They don't want to be a commission-only agent with EXP. If you've got any questions about the two ways you can come into EXP, I encourage reach out to the Hardens, absolutely. But jump on their website, like jump on their socials. Like, they've got over 5,000 followers on their Facebook page. Have a look at their marketing and how they just brand it their way, their flavor. It's clean, it's crisp, it's easy on the eye. I don't think it's too fancy, but it just is perfect for your marketplace. Check it out. Fast forwarding to now, having collaborated with many agents nationally and opening the doors to talk to other agents who are in the same area of you, how are you finding things with EXP as the engine? How are you finding things with collaborating and not employing real estate agents?
Well, collaborating is the best thing. So one of the biggest issues in real estate is always people are worried about training people to be their competitor.
Yeah.
And my personal feeling is that, you know, a lot of agents, they want a little bit of support. They want people to collaborate with. You want people to celebrate with, or if you have a problem, you want somebody to bounce it off. Like, we have one another. Not everybody has that. Like you said, you know, it's a really nice thing to know that there's people out there who actually want to see you succeed.
Mm-hmm.
I think definitely from the perspective of like, whenever somebody's a staff member, right, they're an employee. And I know we all get told, well, you'll probably laugh at this, Chris, but, you know, when you started a real estate office, it's, you know, you run it like it's your own business. But they're just going to take.
We used to preach it all the time. Mate, I pay the bills, but it's a business. You're a business within my business. It's okay.
Yeah. So, but I mean, when you're limiting what somebody's income, like, somebody can work really hard and then they can write some really big numbers, but they're paying the office for the privilege of using their name, but people are actually buying the agent. There's only so much, and there's a point where they're going to get jack of it, or there's a point where their lack of motivation, their lack of ability to get the lifestyle for themselves and their family is actually going to limit how well they do, or they just wanted to get too many transactions in to try and make the money that they need to have the life that they're working so hard for.
Yeah.
So taking big chunks of these agents' commission, when they're the ones out there creating the relationships, doing the negotiations, just being genuinely good people and trying to serve their marketplace and their clients, I just have a problem, like, having had it done to me. I just have a problem with taking such a big chunk away from people. I don't think it's right. And they're not being rewarded for performance. They're actually being penalized for performance. Whereas having a system where, you know, we're all part owners of a company and we're all getting granted a small financial benefit, but from the company, just to help and support one another out there and share what's working for us. And then these people have genuinely their own businesses where they have their own control. They can choose how much they want to earn, and they get to keep the vast majority of it. I mean, there's no better way to have a longevity of an agent, to have good agents stick in the industry, because I mean, the attrition rate in this industry is atrocious, especially with people that really genuinely care. You know, there's so many benefits of it, and you get to have all of the best parts of actually having a team or working with somebody with none of the downfalls of taking on their problems and having to motivate them. All the people that come in, they're motivated themselves, they're going to do the work themselves, they just might want a little bit of support and help. I don't know, I've just hogged that.
And those people that, unfortunately, those people, when they go into, say, a traditional model, a lot of times they can't really thrive, whereas under this, we're more than happy to help out.
They just survive.
Exactly. Like we're more than happy to really help those people that are willing to help themselves, because the thing is, it propels them forward. It doesn't take any more sort of out, any toll, I'll say, off us, where, whereas if they're a staff member, it's kind of like, it can get quite taxing. And the thing is, you've always got that I won't say fear, but like, that they can go and then they just leave and they go to someone else. You train them up and then they go. And that's the thing, and you can't blame them for that, because the thing is, at the end of the day, they've got to do what's best for them, and they're going to be a good employee, and the best employees always leave to go to get a better deal, right? Like, even no matter how loyal you are, you always look out for yourself. So it's kind of like, it's good, because the thing is, we don't feel that, robbed at all, or, we actually like to be able to give to people, and then we inadvertently get something out of that, but they also get a hell of a lot out of it.
It's in line with our abundance mentality.
It's great.
It's like an extension of that.
I love it, because it's one thing that frustrates me too, is the attrition in our industry and how much agents are bound not owning any intellectual property, data, sold results. I mean, you started fresh. I had to start fresh as well. And it's sad. It's a sad reality that how many agents are in just that survival mode, not thrive. And they're literally surviving for the next 60, 90 days, realistically. Whereas, you guys have absolutely diversified. You've got your property management, you're flipping and selling houses, you've got your business, you're moving into the luxury market. Like, you've got multiple pillars or cylinders within your business that are firing at any time. So what would be your tip?
Other agents going out on their own as well, like we're growing a team within EXP.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just about, you beat me to it. I was just about to jump in there and say, what would be your tip for an agent who's maybe watching this on replay, and maybe you're feeling like you are in survival mode? But I think you just hit the nail on the head. Reach out to these guys. We all share similar pain points. We share a similar journey in life with what we do with respect to our careers, but let's just break down the barriers and the walls, and let's just collaborate. I think that's really important. Guys, we are knocking on an hour almost. Thank you so much for your time. As I said, folks, we'll drop some links down below to connect with these guys on their content. But I guess looking back to now, from 2019, that first 9 months, to seeing you guys relaxed, poised, beautiful background, life's good.
That's very good. That's actually a real background, everybody.
I actually had to question that. I'm like, is that virtual? Because that looks real, but that's their background.
You can probably hear the birds. So
yeah, I think the sound of
I could have picked them up. It was awesome. It was awesome. But no, it's great to see you guys smiling, bubbly, energetic, building a great business and an empire that you're doing it your way. And thank you for contributing to our industry, and particularly our network, in all the sharing of your knowledge and experience. And it's really empowering. I know there's a lot of agents that I know of that really aspire to be like you guys, and absolutely admire and look up to you guys. So thanks for your time on this Walk the Talk episode.
Thanks for having us,
so much,
Chris.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah.